up? What's up?
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Hello. Resident mutant. Hello. Resident mutant. There we go.
Across its many Texas locations, Signature Care Emergency Center provides prompt, stress-free treatment for adult and pediatric medical emergencies. 24.
William was abusive and manipulative.
Across its many Texas locations, Signature Care Emergency Center provides prompt, stress-free treatment for
What is up, guys? I'm reacting to Fnaf's entire timeline video. It'll probably be pretty cool. I've never seen it, but it'll be cool. Let me watch it. Yep.
She can dance. She can sing.
All back, all of them, together in one place.
Five Nights at Freddy's is a franchise with over a decade's worth of content, spanning countless games, books, and now a movie. There's a reason that no matter whose timeline you watch, they all look different. Making a FNAF timeline is not easy. There are so many ways you can interpret this story, and this is mine. So let's start at the beginning. Back in the 70s, a company called Fazbear Entertainment got its start by creating different props and mascot costumes for carnivals, and specifically for something called the Fall Fest. The Fall Fest featured various mascot characters, such as a bird, an elephant, and the most popular of all, Fredbear and Bonnie. These specific mascot costumes were so popular, Fazbear Entertainment opened a dedicated restaurant for them called Fredbear's Family Diner, featuring the same Fredbear and Bonnie mascot costumes from the Fall Fest.
And Glitch Trap, I have not seen him since Up Wanted. I know he's in Up Wanted too, but I have not seen him like physically since the first Up Wanted game.
Fest. What Fazbear Entertainment didn't account for, though, was one of their animatronics from the Fall Fest going rogue, ending in a giant fire, with most of everything from the Fall Fest being destroyed.
Damn. Whoa, holy crap. Whoa. Wow. It's like a dang movie. Alright.
The specifics about the animatronic that went rogue and the fire are unknown, and will likely be revealed next year in FNAF's next big release.
Speaking of that, when that game comes out, I'm gonna be playing it when the first day it comes out.
You're not ready for it.
I get your ads out of here.
Although we don't know much about how this fire occurred, we do know that after the fire, Fazbear Entertainment started phasing out of the mascot costume era. They needed something new. The two men who helped found Fazbear Entertainment, William Afton and Henry Emily, stepped up to the plate. William Afton was mostly the businessman of the two, handling all of the money, while Henry was the more creative one, with him being in charge of building most of the animatronics and props for the company. With the Fall Fest era of the company coming to a close, they were only left with Fredbear's Family Diner, the standalone restaurant created for the Fredbear and Bonnie characters. In order to replace the mascot versions of Fredbear and Bonnie, Henry went to work on new versions of the characters, eventually creating the new Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. The same characters, but with new designs and new suits. Henry called them Springlock suits. These suits are able to double as both an animatronic and a suit that the employees could wear. To switch the suit from
Speaking of
animatronic
that,
mode to suit mode, the employees
honestly, I think Henry is a little bit liable for the deaths that occurred because, for one, he knew how dangerous the spring locks were, and two, he basically allowed the company to become far worse than it should have been. You got like so many employees and people just saying, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll allow blood stains on the carpet for up to 90 days," and oh yeah, you know, it just seems so strange to me. Well, it's understandable because I believe that Ring Bonnie, William Afton, whatever, he is a cult leader in some ways, and he is trying to gain the trust from his employees, considering he's the CEO of the company. And it's like, well, the CEO made a statement in the first game saying, "Oh yeah, it's a tragedy, but these people will live on." I believe that the CEO in question is actually William Afton and Henry, because Henry didn't know that they would live on. William did. All right, cool. That's it.
Could use a hand crank to pull back the animatronic parts, leaving room for them to climb inside. The spring locks that were helping to hold back those animatronic parts were very sensitive though, and with even a little bit of moisture, the spring locks could potentially snap shut, crushing and killing whoever was inside. But if that ended up happening, Fazbear Entertainment had some common sense procedures set in place.
That's very dangerous. So like, he's like, "Oh yeah, that's normal. Oh yeah, that's super normal."
Fredbear's Family Diner ended up being super successful.
Henry's like, "Oh, I'll let that happen because
so much so that other companies tried replicating
it doesn't involve me,
Another
or
company proceeded
I'll just leave the company to do whatever it's doing, even though I know that the company is doing bad and people are dying. I'm just gonna leave the company for some fucking reason.
A direct
I
copy
don't know why.
of Fredbear, followed by a hippo, an elephant, and a frog. All characters from the Fall Fest, and all with slightly different designs to avoid copyright issues. But while the rival company was able to replicate the design, they could not replicate Henry's state-of-the-art technology. Their robots were poorly made and had to have giant batteries with exposed white.
Because we know that Jackie is owned by William, because we see it in the Fnaf 2. On the Fnaf 2 wall, we see a paper plate that looks just like Jackie, and Jackie is in the movie. It's not in the movie. Sorry, Jackie is in the game in the storage facility. I don't know if I told you guys, but I went to PAX and I played the video game, and I played the demo, and it's so dang fun, dude. Oh my god, like, yeah. So, all right, yeah. So that's one thing I don't like about his theory. But let's play along. Let's give him the devil's advocate.
On stage with them. Naturally, the rival company failed and ended up being bought out by Fazbear Entertainment. With all of the success from Fredbear's Family Diner, William and Henry decided to branch out and create more characters for a new restaurant. In 1983, William and Henry opened Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, featuring Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. With the opening of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, Fazbear Entertainment was experiencing success like they've never seen before. But with two restaurants now open at the same time, more success also meant more work for William and Henry. The duo were so wrapped up in work that they started neglecting their own families. William was the father of 3 kids.
Another thing I don't agree with. I'll delve more into it in the video. But I think that William from the start, either, like I said, knew that he was gaining popularity, just like someone like Jim Jones or Charles Manson. He runs the show. He's like the gang leader, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the guy. If you need help, I'm the one to talk to if you need help with something." And I'm on the show. I play the cards. I roll the dice, right? Like Charles Manson said. But in Fnaf 3, I'm gonna say it just so I can go over back and read it, so I can write it down. But in Fnaf 3, one of the posters changes from Freddy to Spring Bonnie. Freddy, Spring Bonnie. You see? And so what I think is William and William and Henry, they work together. They're like, "Oh, let's build this company. Let's work on this. Let's make this money. Let's make this revenue." And William's like, "Oh, yeah, I love dressing up as a bunny and enjoying and making kids happy. It would be so great I could do that forever and ever, never, and build my own family. Like I said, in the first Fnaf game, I think it's the first Fnaf game where they're like, welcome to the family. I might be misquoted, but I'm certain that in the first FNAF game, whether it's in a phone call or on the paycheck, it's like, welcome to the family, and there's a whole focus on family, and I feel like it's very why don't I just watch the video? Okay, yeah, sorry.
The eldest, Michael, the crying child, and Elizabeth. The crying child has yet to have a 100% confirmed name.
I'm gonna call him Garrett because that's what he's named in the first FNAF
Meanwhile,
movie.
Henry had one kid, a daughter named Charlie. The business partners spent most of their days working, so they both created different ways of taking care of their kids. Henry was the robotics genius, so he used his talents to create a new animatronic to watch Charlie for him. It was called the security puppet. This animatronic would sit by the door of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza and make sure that Charlie wasn't able to leave the building. This made it so Charlie could play at the restaurant while Henry worked, without Henry having to worry about her leaving the building or getting kidnapped. Featuring Fredbear, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Fazbear. Child has yet to have a 100% confirmed name.
I'm gonna call him Garrett because that's what he's named in the first FNAF movie.
Henry had one kid, a daughter named Charlie. The business partners spent most of their day for William and Henry.
In the storage facility, I don't know if I told you guys, but I went to PAX and I played the video game, and I played the demo, and it's so dang fun, dude. Oh my god. Like, you know? Yeah, so, alright, yeah, so that's one thing I don't like about it, but let's play along. Let's give him the devil's advocate.
On stage with them. Naturally, the rival company failed and ended up being bought out by Fazbear Entertainment. With all of the success from Fredbear's Family Diner, William and Henry decided to branch out and create more characters for a new restaurant. In 1983, William and Henry opened Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, featuring Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. With the opening of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, Fazbear Entertainment was experiencing success like they'd never seen before. But with two restaurants now open at the same time, more success also meant more work for William and Henry. The duo were so wrapped up in work that they started neglecting their own families. William was the father of 3 kids.
The only thing I don't agree with, I'll delve into it in the video, but I think that William from the start, either, like I said, knew that he was getting popularity, just like someone like Jim Jones or Charles Manson. He runs the show, and he's like the gang leader, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm the guy, you need help, I'm the one to talk to if you need help with something. And I'm on the show, I play the cards, I'll roll the dice, right? Like Charles Manson said. But in FNAF 3, I'm gonna say it just so I can go over back and read it so I can write it down. But in FNAF 3, one of the posters changes from Freddy to Spring Bonnie. Freddy, Spring Bonnie. See? And so what I think is William and Spring Bonnie, William and Henry, they work together. They're like, oh, let's build this company. Let's work on this. Let's make this money. Let's make this revenue. And William's like, oh, I love dressing up as a bunny and enjoying it.
A Job Corps, you can
that.
work towards a career.
Job Corps provides free schooling, free tuition, free housing.
entertainment, with all of the father of 3 kids, the eldest, Michael, the crying child, and Elizabeth. The crying child has yet to have a 100% confirmed name, so for this video, he will just be called the Crying, featuring Fredbear, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and featuring Fredbear, In 1983, William and Henry opened Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, featuring Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. With the opening of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, Fazbear Entertainment was experiencing success like they've never seen before. But with 2 restaurants now open at the same time, more success also meant more work for William and Henry. The duo were so wrapped up in work that they started neglecting their own families. William was the father of 3 kids, the eldest, Michael, the crying child, and Elizabeth. The crying child has yet to have a 100% confirmed name, so for this video, he will just be called the Crying Child. Meanwhile, Henry had 1 kid, a daughter named Charlie. The business partners spent most of their days working, so they both created different ways of taking care of their kids. Henry was the robotics genius, so he used his talents to create
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Hey, cool. Yeah, Stream Deck or something, dude. For that.
force his eldest son Michael to babysit while he was at work. Michael was mostly in charge of babysitting the crying child. The crying child didn't have many friends, but he did have a close relationship with his plushies. These plushies were of characters from his favorite show, Fredbear and Friends, Fazbear Entertainment's newest cartoon, featuring Fredbear, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. The crying child's favorite character, though, was Fredbear. He especially loved his Fredbear plushie. Although he loved the plushie version of the characters, the animatronics would soon become a different story. One day, while visiting Fredbear's family diner, the crying child saw something that would scar him for the rest of his life. While wandering the restaurant, he walked by the employees only room, where an employee accidentally left the door open. Inside the room was his father, William Afton, helping another employee into a spring Bonnie suit. But through the eyes of the crying child, this looked like someone was literally being stuffed into an animatronic suit. The crying child was so young that he wasn't educated educated on how the mascot characters worked, so seeing a human be put inside of one terrified him. When a child experiences something traumatic, their brain naturally tries finding ways to deal with that trauma. The crying child's way of dealing with his trauma was by creating an imaginary friend. This imaginary friend took the form of the object he loved the most, his Fredbear plushie. His new imaginary friend Fredbear followed him wherever he went, shape-shifting into flowers, hiding behind cars and in the sewers, with nobody being able to see him except for the crying child. When the crying child was overwhelmed, the plushie would talk to him and try to calm him down. Even when the plushie wasn't around, it was still able to speak to him because it lived in his mind. While the crying child was dealing with the trauma of seeing what he thinks was someone being stuffed into a suit, his brother Michael was only making it worse. Michael knew about what happened with his younger brother, right? And used it against him every day while babysitting the crying child.
We all hate ads.
That scene.
The real question is, why don't you have an ad blocker yet?
It says that Michael is the one that's saying all that. So. Oh.
From the pizzeria to your living room, you know
Doctor, what? Oh my gosh. What?
Weeknights at 8/7 Central. Only on.
He should have been Doggo. Oh my god. What's bro looking at? That bed's very shiny. Oh my god. Oh my
Through
god.
all of Michael's bullying, the crying child's imaginary friend Fredbear would comfort him and talk him through the situation, saying, "You know he is hiding again. Be careful. Tomorrow is another day." Michael wasn't the only one bullying the crying child, though. The local kids in the neighborhood heard about why the crying child was so scared of the pizzeria, even making up fake rumors related to what the crying child thought he saw there. "You'd better watch out. I hear they come to life at night. And if you die, they hide your body and never tell anyone." But all of this bullying would come to a head on one special day, the crying child's birthday. Ironically, his birthday party was being held at Fredbear's family diner. Because he was so terrified of being at the pizzeria, he hid under the table, not knowing that Michael and his friends were nearby, planning a prank that would go terribly wrong.
Yeah, like I said, Henry, and because Henry's here too, so obviously he's at fault at some point for criminal negligence.
Fredbear and Spring Bonnie will be performing in 5 minutes.
Pat? What the heck? That Pat? Oh my gosh. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Oh, not scared. Oh, yeah. I understand the suspense, but this is the game for
Michael
kids,
and his
but
friends lifted the crying child up to, quote, give
if I were
Fredbear
a kid,
a big kiss, and
I'll be
Fredbear
fucking
bit
balling,
down
bro.
on him, leaving
Holy
his
shit.
body to go limp. Michael and his friends quickly stopped laughing. Because of Michael's immature
babies cry
behavior,
like
his
really
terrified
crazy, you know?
younger brother paid the ultimate price.
Yeah, and
Although
also,
the crying
like,
child
Michael
was badly
is
hurt, he didn't immediately die. Because
going
of the
to
immense
juvie
brain
or
damage,
prison.
he slipped into a coma. After being treated at a hospital, the crying child was
I don't know.
taken home so he could be
Also-
comfortable, surrounded by his only friends, his
Yeah.
plushies.
All right,
In
I'm
the
not-
crying
oh my
child's
God.
final moments, Michael decides to apologize for what he's done, saying, "Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me." I'm sorry. After Michael speaks, the crying child's imaginary friend Fredbear, created out of the trauma he experienced, continues doing what it's done the whole time. It comforts him, saying, "You're broken. We are still your friends. Do you still believe that? I'm still here. I will put you back together." This would be the final thing the crying child hears before he dies. The crying child's spirit would then live on in the Fredbear suit, the thing that took his life. The crying child's death wasn't just an accident. It was directly caused by Michael's recklessness. This is something that Michael could potentially face jail time for, so it needed to be covered up. Since the crying child was being kept at home, no one else knew that he ended up passing away. So William and Michael ended up burying the crying child's body in the middle of the woods where no one would find him. No tombstone, no flowers, just a pile of dirt, an unmarked grave, and a lifetime's worth of guilt that Michael would have to live with. Shortly after the incident, Fredbear's family diner was quickly shut down, and Fredbear was completely wiped
gives
from
William a little bit of leverage to be like,
Friends TV show turned
don't you know what you
into
did to your
Freddy
brother?
and Friends on
You
tour.
better fucking
The
do what I
Fredbear and
say.
Spring Bonnie Springlock suits
Which,
also
you know,
ended up being moved into the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
It leads
mainly
into what I was
being
saying
used as
about
spare
William
suits
being
if
a
one of
dang
the Freddy's
cult leader,
animatronics broke down.
wanting
The death
power
of William
and
Afton's
money.
youngest son was a
Both
pivotal
murders
moment
happened
in
with
this story.
because of either
Specifically,
power,
William
money, or
Afton's
sex.
story. This
And,
was the first
pretty sure
domino
the first,
to fall. A father losing his son is a traumatic situation,
pretty
and
sure
while
power
any
is the
other
only one
father
that he
would take
wants.
time to grieve, be
Because
sad, and properly
if he's
deal with
making all
such
this
a big
money
loss, William
doing his
Afton
business, I
took
don't
a
think he wants
different
that.
route. Afton
he
definitely
wants
was
power,
upset
honestly.
about his son dying, but it wasn't because he felt bad for his son. It was because it was embarrassing to him. William Afton was a
does he have,
narcissist. He had little
psych-
to no empathy.
wait, no,
All he
not
cared
psych-
about was work and comparing himself to his business partner, Henry. Henry had a wife, a kid, and a talent for robotics that Afton was utterly jealous of. The death of the crying child sent Afton
both have the
over
same
the
thing,
edge,
so I
because
think
while
it's
Henry's
more so
family was
like,
still
oh,
perfect, his was
I'm
now
enveloped
broken.
into this
Henry and William had different
dream
ways
of
of taking
mine.
care of their
I believe
kids,
that's
and
just
while
real,
Afton employing his
but it's
eldest
not.
son failed,
wanna,
Henry's
you know,
security
I don't know.
puppet succeeded. Henry's daughter, Charlie, lived on. Afton had a hard time dealing with this feeling of embarrassment. He started becoming an alcoholic, frequently visiting the local bar called Junior's. One night, though, after drinking a little too much and getting kicked out of the bar, he decided that he was going to settle the score with Henry. Afton, drunk and filled with rage, drove from the bar to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where he knew Charlie was being watched over by Henry's security puppet. Afton planned on risking everything to kill Henry's daughter, Charlie. He didn't care if he got caught, and he didn't care if he went to prison. But when Afton got to Freddy's, he noticed that Charlie was standing outside by herself. It turned out that some bullies were able to trap the security puppet in its box and lock Charlie outside the building, giving Afton the perfect opportunity to kill Charlie outside of the pizzeria. The security puppet was eventually able to escape its box and went looking for Charlie. As Afton sped away, the puppet noticed that Charlie was outside in the pouring rain. It then did what it was programmed to do and went to protect her. But as the puppet got closer to Charlie's body, the rain started making it short circuit. It was forced to crawl its way over to her until the rain got to be too much, and the puppet shut down right next to Charlie's body. While Charlie and the puppet lay lifeless next to each other, Afton was speeding home, driving right past where he buried his son and the bar he got kicked out of. When Afton got home, he was met with his wife sitting in the living room watching TV, and Michael in his bedroom. Afton was a drunk and abusive father, and fully blamed Michael for what happened to his youngest son. Mrs. Afton tells him to leave Michael alone because he's had a tough day, but Afton doesn't listen. He goes over to Michael's room and pounds on the door, only for the door to be locked. He then makes his way around the house to try and find a way in from the outside. But once he gets to Michael's bedroom window, he notices that it's broken, and Michael was gone. Michael was so upset by what he did to his brother that he would sometimes see visions of Fredbear appear and disappear. Tonight, Fredbear appeared outside his bedroom window, and it almost felt like his brother was calling out to him from beyond the grave. This would happen frequently, and every time it did, Michael would run to the spot where they buried his younger brother, only to find that nothing had changed. His younger brother was still gone and buried in the ground. Afton knew Michael did this often, saying, "Ran off to that place again. He will be sorry when he gets back." The guilt of killing his younger brother haunted Michael in his real life, but also in his dreams. Michael would constantly have nightmares about the animatronic that took his brother's life. These were the exact same nightmares his younger brother used to have every night, now passed on to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he must have been abused as a child too, because that's what happens a lot of the times with like cult leaders or serial killers, and stuff like that. You know. Whoa! Holy crap! That's creepy. Go in there. Don't open the door. Let me. Holy. Whoa.
After the death of Charlie, Fazbear Entertainment tried their best at covering it up. Fortunately for them and for William, the crime was committed outside, where no one was around to witness it. William was able to get away with everything, while Fazbear Entertainment never spoke of the incident again. The security puppet was quickly moved to the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where the retired Fredbear and Spin Body Suit resided. But something was different about the security puppet. Dark tears now appeared on the mask of the animatronic. Dark tears that weren't there before. This is something that Afton quickly noticed the next day when he went into work. He'd heard about what happened moments after he sped off. He knew the security puppet was found laying next to Charlie's body. So does that mean Charlie's soul now resided in the puppet? William definitely noticed that the puppet looked different. Almost like it was haunted. Almost like it was thinking. Other employees would eventually notice the same thing.
I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing. It's always thinking. And it can go anywhere.
After realizing the security puppet may be possessed by the spirit of Charlie, Afton went back and looked at the crying child's Fredbear plushie, only to find that it also seemed to be haunted. The crying child feared for his life every single day, and that plushie was something he was able to cry and pour his agony into. Afton believed that this is what caused the plushie to appear haunted. It wasn't made alive by the spirit of his son, it was made alive by the agony and fear his son poured into it. Afton quickly became obsessed with the concept of haunted objects, and more specifically, the power of human emotion. He needed to find out if this is something he could take advantage of. Afton then used all of his money he made from Fredbear's and Freddy Fazbear's Pizza to build a giant underground facility directly under his house. It was here that he would try to recreate what happened with his son, to recreate the fear and agony he experienced. In order to do this, Afton didn't take any chances. He needed to replicate exactly what his son went through every day. In order to do this, Afton built a replica of his house underground, along with his son's daily walk to Fredbear's family diner. He also built a makeshift bedroom where he could force kids to have the same nightmare every night. Afton would sit in his office watching them on the cameras that could be accessed using the passcode 1983, the year his son got bit. He also kept the crying child's Fredbear plushie on the desk as a reminder of what he was trying to replicate. In the makeshift bedroom, there were dummy animatronics that wheeled down the hallway. But the kids wouldn't see them as just blank dummies on wheels. Afton would pump hallucinogenic gas into the room to get the kids to think that what they were seeing was a monster. These nightmare gas canisters were being stored all throughout his underground facility, and on the bed of this makeshift bedroom was a Freddy plushie, in the hopes that the kids would pour their fear and agony into the plush, like his son did to his plushie. On the other side of the bunker, where Afton recreated the crying child's walk to Fredbear's, he placed a bunch of Fredbear plushies all over the place. These Fredbear plushies had walkie-talkies inside of them. This was Afton's way of recreating his son's imaginary friend that would talk to him wherever he went. Afton would speak to the kids through his walkie-talkie sitting in his private office. After setting up the bunker, Afton was only missing one more thing: the kids.
Behold, my super high protection system. Don't look, it's
to run these experiments on. He needed a way to kidnap and capture kids without being caught, and he had the perfect way to do it.
The show will begin momentarily. Everyone, please stay in your
I think Fazbear Entertainment went out
Enter
first
Circus Baby and the Funtime
because
animatronics. These robots were
it was
specifically
happening
built
and
by
nobody
Afton
said
to
nothing.
capture
There would be
kids,
no reason to have Circus Baby and all that.
Freddy, Funtime Foxy, and Ballora.
That's just
They
a
feature
separate
advanced technology
investment,
such as
I guess, or
parental
something for
tracking,
him.
voice mimicking / luring, and storage tanks.
Yeah, like a
Circus
second form
Baby,
of
the star of the group,
remnant
was
income.
even able to make ice cream as a way to lure kids to her. Once the kid got too close, a giant claw would reach out, grab them, and lock them in the animatronics storage tank. Some of the board members from Fazbear Entertainment were suspicious of these new animatronics.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's the board member.
She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating
I
balloons
think
right
it
at her
is
fingertips.
the government.
She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream.
Or like the city government or something.
With all due respect, those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Afton.
Afton even created a
or
new
just a
restaurant
detective
for
or
these
something.
animatronics called Circus Baby's Pizza World. Elizabeth, William Afton's daughter, was fascinated by Circus Baby. All she wanted to do was play with her, but
Circus
Afton
Baby looks like
wouldn't
dang
let her.
Daddy,
Lilo.
why won't you let me play with her? We let the other
Children go, Fia.
Why won't you let me go?
He strictly told her to stay away from the animatronic, but one day she didn't listen. On the opening day of Circus Baby's Pizza World, another domino
like I said,
would fall in
criminal
Afton's
negligence.
life, and Elizabeth would soon
Criminal
be the victim
negligence.
of
I
his
think it's a
terrible
separate.
misdeeds.
I don't know.
I can do
I would
something
say,
special.
yeah.
Did you know that? I can make ice cream, although I only did it once. What a wonderful day, though. I was in a small room with balloons and a few tables. I would always count the children. I'm not sure why. They usually played together in groups of two or three. There were four, then three, then two,
then one.
then one. Time to play.
Time to play. Oh, Jackie, there's Mama. Mama, baby. And she's tall. Oh. Oh.
Ice cream.
Ice cream, yummy, yummy, yummy. Oh, man.
Something happened when there was one. I was no longer myself.
Yep.
I was screaming for a moment, but only for a
For
moment.
moments.
In an instant, Elizabeth
think
was grabbed
when-
by Circus Baby and thrown into her stomach hatch. The sheer
what is
force
it?
of her being grabbed and thrown into
Michael
the robot's storage tank was enough to
removed
kill her
the
almost
bad
instantly.
part
This
of,
is something that William wasn't able to test. That was until his daughter became
of
the
Circus
test.
Baby.
William Afton now lost another one of his kids, but
her
this time it was
soul
all his
wasn't no
fault.
longer,
After just one day of being open, Circus Baby's Pizza
soul
World was
was no
shut
longer,
down. Afton covered up the incident by telling the
limited
public
by-
that the restaurant
sorry.
shut down due
Circus
to gas
Baby
leaks.
was no
But
longer
not
limited by
everyone
what,
bought that story. The local newspaper wrote about the incident,
Yeah,
saying
so
in
basically,
other news, the grand
Circus
opening
Baby
of Circus
removed
Baby's Pizza World has apparently
soul
been canceled
of,
due to reported gas leaks in
Elizabeth.
the building. Sources
That
close
way
to the
she can-
establishment
they can
questioned the
haunt
report, saying that strange
or,
activity
yeah,
around the
haunt
area at night
or,
suggests something else
possess
is to blame.
Mike,
One
because-
local is quoted as saying, "Everything
Well,
just stopped. There
I
was
don't know,
so much
'cause
excitement built around this
Andrew and
place
whatever his name
opening, and
is
then they just stopped
both
talking
haunt
about
the
it."
Freddy
A tenant
Fazbear
from across
suit,
the
but
street
that's
claims
a
to have
suit.
witnessed
That's
a
not a
large
fucking-
group of
that's not a freaking
cars
body,
surrounding
you know
the
what I'm saying?
building during the night, and large pieces of
don't know.
equipment being taken out of the building under tarps. A few weeks later, the building was for sale. There is no comment yet from the local entrepreneur who financed the venture. That local entrepreneur, William Afton, successfully covered up everything. He was able to bring Circus Baby and the
I don't
Funtime
think he was
animatronics back down
with,
into his bunker. But once he got them there, he noticed something was different about Circus Baby. One distinct feature about Circus Baby was her blue eyes. But what once was blue eyes now were green, the same color as Elizabeth's. In that moment, he knew that his daughter's soul attached itself to the robot. Her soul lived on in Circus Baby. Afton knew that the way Charlie went on to possess the puppet was sloppy, and it was hard to recreate without getting caught. But what if the kids' bodies were hidden where no one would ever look?
Like I said,
what if, just like his daughter,
happening in
their
the company
bodies were
and
stuffed
nobody
into the
says nothing.
animatronics? For Afton, Elizabeth's death quickly
There's,
went from just another inconvenience to a scientific
maybe not at that that point, but
Afton
later
was
on,
one step closer
definitely
to
it was a
harnessing the
lot
power
more
of life itself. But one
known
successful
and
experiment
not really
wasn't
cared
enough.
about.
Just like the fear experiments he built in the bunker, he
Maybe
needed
just,
to replicate exactly what happened. He needed to
oversight or something, I don't know,
recreate the accident, and he knew exactly how he was going to do it. Using the Funtime animatronics again wasn't an option. Circus Baby's Pizza World was shut down, and the public was already getting too suspicious of the animatronics. But he didn't need the Funtime animatronics. He was going to run the experiment himself. On June 26, 1985, William Afton made his way to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. There, he would put on the old spring Bonnie suit from Fredbear's to lure 5 kids into the back room.
So considering Michael is an adult during Fnaf's sister location because that's interesting. Oh wow.
Hello.
Hello.
Looking for a friend?
The water's clear, come swim with
Yeah, like I said, super open. How did nobody see that? Oh, I'm luring all these kids. I said it at 9, but I don't know. Oh wow, that's cool.
One by one, Afton killed them and stuffed their bodies into the animatronics. Susie was first, being stuffed into Chica. Gabriel went into Freddy, Jeremy into Bonnie, Fritz into Foxy, and then there was Cassidy, who went into Fredbear, aka Golden Freddy. At this point, Afton had no idea that the crying child spirit was in Golden Freddy, so he didn't think twice about shoving Cassidy in there. The way Afton killed Cassidy, though, was different from the rest. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy were just regular animatronics. Afton had no choice but to kill them, then stuff them into the suits. But Golden Freddy wasn't just a regular animatronic, it was a springlock suit. The same springlock suit that took his youngest son's life. Afton was aware of how dangerous the springlocks were. Any bit of moisture or too much movement would cause them to snap shut, slowly killing whoever was inside.
Cassidy's the one
so
you should
that's
not have killed
exactly what he did to Cassidy. He put him into the suit and watched as the springlocks snapped shut, cementing Cassidy's death as the most brutal of them all. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy weren't the only animatronics sitting in the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, though. They were joined by the security puppet, which contained the soul of Henry's daughter, Charlie. Once Afton was gone, Charlie jumped into action, almost acting as a guide for their souls, properly giving them life inside of each animatronic. After the incident, the kids were quickly reported missing by their families, and although the security cameras caught Afton luring the kids away, he wasn't able to fully get in trouble. Since he was wearing the spring Bonnie suit, they were never able to prove it was actually him. Afton also hid the kids' bodies where no one would ever look, so the bodies were never found. Unbelievably, Afton was able to get away with yet another crime. Because of all the bad press that came from the missing children's incident, people stopped coming to the pizzeria. After months of customers no longer showing up, Fazbear Entertainment officially shut down Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Shortly after the pizzeria shut down, Afton decided to pull the Funtime animatronics out of retirement and finally get his underground facility fully operational. He knew he couldn't try opening another Circus Baby's restaurant, so he had a new idea.
Due to the massive success and even more so the unfortunate closing of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, it was clear that the stage was set, no pun intended, for another contender in children's entertainment. Unlike most entertainment venues, our robotic entertainers are rented out for private parties during the day.
Afton opened Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental. This way, he could rent out the Funtime animatronics to local birthday parties, capture kids, and bring them back to his underground bunker to be experimented on. While Afton was running his rental business, Fazbear Entertainment was determined to try opening another pizzeria. In the summer of 1987, Fazbear Entertainment opened the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, this time with brand new versions of their original characters. These were called the Toy Animatronics. animatronics, and they were once again built by Henry. Henry was aware of what happened in 1985, and especially of what happened to his daughter, so he was determined to make sure that never happened again. These new toy animatronics were equipped with facial recognition systems that were linked directly to a criminal database. The security puppet was also brought out of retirement, but instead of working security, it sat quietly in the prize corner. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Golden Freddy, and Spring Bonnie were also moved to the new pizzeria, and it's revealed that these animatronics were mostly used for spare parts.
By now, I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room. Those are from the previous location, and we just use them for parts now. The idea at first was to repair them, but they were just so ugly, you know? And the smell.
This means
like
that
I said,
the haunted metal
happened,
of the original Freddy's animatronics was now being put into the toy animatronics, causing the toys to also now be possessed.
Something old,
After
something
Afton
new.
got away with the first set of murders, he needed to see if the kids' spirits were possessing the animatronics. In order to see for himself, Afton went back to work at the new pizzeria as a daytime security guard. While Afton was working the day shift, Jeremy Fitzgerald was working the night shift. Jeremy worked there for 5 nights, and unfortunately for him, because the kids possessing the animatronics were killed by an adult, they were extremely aggressive to any adult they encountered.
Well, 5 murders.
They interact with the kids just fine, but when they encounter an adult, they just stare.
Meanwhile, Afton decided to pull the same trick he did at the
Guys,
old
wouldn't it be
Freddy's
so great to have a
gaining 5 more victims.
Someone used one of them
analog horror
we had
about
a spare in the back, a yellow one.
Wouldn't it be great to have an analog horror about finding a way of linking all of the movies and the games and books all together? Well, I have an analog horror that I'm starting where that is the case. As we know, God is timeless and souls are eternal because it cannot be destroyed. Energy cannot be destroyed. And so, God is outside of space and time. And so when I started this analog horror, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take that concept and apply it to Fnaf. And so we can see something that Charlie feels, Garrett feels, Susie feels it from the games to Come Home to all this stuff. They all feel the same pain. It's kind of like how twin telepathy sort of, or just like telepathy in general, where you have a copy and then, or like a voodoo doll, I guess you feel the same thing that somebody else feels, and it's really interesting. I'm not gonna say anymore because I don't want you to find out, but it's gonna be really cool. It also involves like I was saying, it involves the more what's the word? Employee side of Freddy Fazbear's, how they react to what's going on, how they try to lift up William Afton and try to like move forward this status quo of yes, we want to be living forever, we want everyone else to be like this. And that's kind of why how even after William Afton died, Fazbear Entertainment is still like, okay, yeah, we'll continue this rampage and lack of empathy or lack of, this criminal negligence. We'll continue that because we see what William did and we want to copy that or mimic it. But I'm ching. Yeah, we want to mimic it and apply it everywhere we can go. And so that's it. Boom. Are you interested or no? If not, let me know. Let me know what you guys think because I feel like that's something I would be interested in. I'm different than most people, obviously, because I have autism. But yeah. Okay. Sorry.
someone used it.
Afton used the spring Bonnie suit to pull the same stunt again on 5 more kids. But as he was committing the murders, Charlie from inside the puppet was actively trying to save the kids. She tried enlisting the help of the other animatronics, but it was too late. Afton had already finished what he started. Not only that, him seeing the puppet and Freddy walking around the pizzeria trying to stop him was all the proof he needed that his experiments were successful. The kids he put into the original suits were haunting the animatronics. But there was one problem. Afton knew that the haunted metal of the endoskeletons was the key to everything, but the animatronics were trapped at the pizzeria. There was no way he could bring them back to his underground bunker. He couldn't get to the animatronics if the pizzeria was still open and active, so he needed to find a way to make sure the pizzeria shuts down and fast. Instead of stuffing the new set of victims into the toy animatronics, he decided to leave the kids out in plain sight, scattered throughout the pizzeria. This was a guaranteed way to get the pizzeria shut down. A few hours after Afton committed the murders, Jeremy Fitzgerald showed up for his night shift, unaware of what happened that day.
What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get
only possible people that they would want to be incarcerated is either somebody that works there, somebody that's involved. And I feel like whoever was put into prison is probably somebody that wants to be put in prison. Kind of like
the next day during Jeremy's day shift, one of the animatronics bit him in the head. This was infamously known as the bite of 87. Meanwhile, Afton successfully got the pizzeria shut down. The local newspaper wrote about the incident, saying after being open for only a few short weeks, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is closing its doors. The new animatronics will be scrapped due to possible malfunctions. However, the original characters are being kept in hopes of a possible reorganization of the company. Since the toy animatronics were now being scrapped, he knew he could get away with taking their endoskeletons. But he also knew that he couldn't risk showing his face at the pizzeria again, so he got his oldest son Michael to do the work for him. William was easily able to get Michael to do whatever he wanted. William was abusive and manipulative, while Michael was haunted by the guilt of what he did to his younger brother. Because of this, Michael basically acted as William's puppet. Michael showed up for the night shift at the now closed Freddy Fazbear's Pizza under a code name, Fritz Smith. At the end of his shift, he would successfully steal the toy animatronics endoskeletons for his father, causing him to get fired his first day on the job due to tampering with the animatronics. As it said in the local newspaper, while Fazbear Entertainment scrapped the toy animatronics, the original Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy were going to be fixed up and reused. And that's exactly what they did. After the 1987 Freddy's location shut down, they opened yet another location, this time using the exact same building as the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. As you can imagine, this didn't work out great for the business. People already had a bad impression of Fazbear Entertainment, so using the same building that the original murders took place in didn't help business. Customers barely showed up to the new pizzeria, leading it to shut down by the end of 1993. Although this was bad news for Fazbear Entertainment, this was great news for William Afton. Afton was able to acquire the endos of the toy animatronics, but that wasn't enough. He needed all of the haunted endoskeletons, especially the ones in the original animatronics. Once the pizzeria shut down, Afton came up with a plan to steal the endos from the animatronics. Each pizzeria was designed with something called a safe room.
As always, if there is ever an emergency, please go to the designated safe room. Every location is built with one extra room that is not included in the digital map layouts programmed into the animatronics or security system. This room is
sorry, Atirador de Elite Militar.
This room was hidden from guests and invisible to the animatronics. Afton would use this to his advantage, luring each of the animatronics to the safe room and dismantling them one by one. The kids possessing these animatronics were the same kids he lured into the back room all those years ago. He planned to use the same trick to lure the same kids all over again.
Also, I feel like that happens. No. Molly's my favorite animatronic also. Follow me. Like I said, look at cult leader. Follow me, Foxy. This is made in probably an SFM because you can tell by the way the animatronics move. Oh, Foxy, behind you. Yeah, that's a main SFM, I can tell. Basis.
Once he finished dismantling each animatronic and stealing their endoskeleton, he brought them down to his underground bunker, where he would melt them all down into one liquid substance called Remnant. Not only did Afton rob these kids of their lives, he would use their souls long after they're gone for his own personal gain.
Yeah, he's trying to get power, dude. He's trying to get power. Pretty Fazbear. Alright, guys, yeah. That's true.
Featuring Fredbear, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. The crying child's favorite character, though, was Freddy.
Bye, guys. I'll be back. Sorry. Gotta get some dinner.